Hello, Gareth here, and I've got this wonderful dry voice today, but I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to talk about my painting trip to a place called Tsukumi. So this is a coastal town near where I live, and I've often gone past this place on the highway, and it's quite a spectacle, this place, because you've got this huge mountain and half of it has been like ripped away because they use whatever is in the mountain to make concrete. And at the bottom of the mountain, you've got these, I should say, you've got these big pipes going down the mountain to the bottom where you've got some concrete factory or whatever it is. So this place is not beautiful, but it's very powerful. And when I go past it, especially evening time, I experience this kind of awe because they've literally cut away at the mountain. So part of me is like, oh my goodness, what a tragedy or travesty. I'm not sure, maybe both. Why did they do this? And another part of me is thinking like, this is bizarre in a somewhat interesting way. And so I decided to go on a painting trip there because I thought maybe I didn't think I could paint the mountain because I thought it might be difficult to get access to the mountain top. But I thought at the bottom where you've got like the factories and you've got like a big port, I thought maybe that looks interesting. And at evening time, it might even possibly look beautiful. You know, this kind of romantic image of old warehouses and factories that, you know, are a bit like ramshackle, a bit dilapidated. I thought maybe that could look good. And I also looked on Google Maps and noticed that this area actually had a peninsula, and I thought there might be some beautiful areas by the coast that haven't been touched by all this industrialization. So I was curious too. And it ended up being a real big positive. So what I'm going to do in this video is basically show you where I went and then show you paintings that I did of that place. And so the first place I came to was this dockyard. And at first, although it was interesting, I didn't think at first that I could paint anything. There were these two big, maybe tugboats, and they were very interesting to look at, but I didn't think I could paint them because there was two of them. And so if I did a painting of that, I think it would look a bit confusing. If there was just one, it would be easy to read and it would look okay. So although that was interesting, I chose not to paint that. But anyway, what happened is I took a walk around here and I saw this scene and I just thought this looked beautiful. What I like about this scene is the way, like, these concrete buildings are not particularly beautiful, but the composition made it beautiful. And also some of the contrasts of colour made it very interesting. And also the way I've kind of positioned things. So I really like this, but you might not. But yeah, and I love my little cyclist. And also I like the way the concrete looks. Like up here, it's almost an orange colour, but then it becomes this darker brownish colour, and it's got lovely textural pattern. And so something that's normally very boring suddenly looks really beautiful. So yeah, very happy with this. It turned out nice. And I love the green colour, or the yellow green colour. I think it's very, very, very vibrant. So it worked out really well. Okay, so after the dockyards, I carried on along the coast, and I came to a really interesting place where you had a little bit of a jetty. I don't know what to call it, or a quay. And I liked the little fishing boats here. I thought that looked nice. And I took a little walk along the quay, and there were some fishermen there, and I thought that looked quite interesting, but I decided not to paint that in the end. So it was back in the car and continuing on. And then I came to another area, another little port. And this was very interesting because you had these two big rocks with a gap in the middle. And there was like a big concrete wall attached to one of the rocks, and like a concrete wall, a low concrete wall between them. And normally in Japan, when you've got this combination of natural and artificial, it normally doesn't work that well, in my opinion. But I thought this just looked really interesting. And so I got a lot of video footage of this. And I tried to get different angles. And yeah, this one, although I really liked it, I chose not to do a painting of it. And then while I was here, maybe when I was going back to the car, I just thought the road looked really beautiful. And yeah, I just thought the perspective was really exciting. I love the surface of the road. And so I did a painting of that. And again, another very mundane scene, very ordinary, but I think that I was able to express the beautiful textural surfaces here. You know, the lovely subtle colours, very subtle colours, you know, greys and browns and whites. And, you know, my daughter hated these cracks. She thought they weren't pretty, but for me, they added to the surface and made it look more interesting. And I love these distant hills. I just think they look really nice. And what I think I captured here is there's a really lovely atmosphere along these coastal roads in Japan. There's something very, I don't know, pure and beautiful. And I feel like this painting captures that. So yeah, I'm really happy about it. And I don't know why, but these little white bits here, I think work really well. Yeah. You just, over time, well, it's taken me maybe 20 years, you develop an eye for patterns and how to bring those patterns together to make a beautiful painting. And so the next place I came to was Tsukumi town. And I got a lot of drone shots of this place. And it's really, really beautiful place. Well, in one way, it's kind of ugly. The buildings are not that fantastic, but the way they are nestled into the mountain and just the viewpoint from the drone, it looked interesting. So what I'll talk about first maybe is, yeah, which one? The one from the drone. Yeah. This painting, when I look at it directly, I'm kind of like, maybe I failed here, although I'm glad I had a go. But when I look at it on the screen, it looks really good. Let me know what you think in the comments, yeah? But don't be too harsh. I'm not that strong. I wish I was. But I love the angle. It's such a dramatic angle. And I love this cluster of buildings all packed together. It's claustrophobic. But that's what it's like in Japan. And you've got these beautiful colours, right? The greens, the blues, and then here this dark colour with maybe a bit of purple here. I don't know if you can see that. And so although maybe this is not as good as I want it to be yet, I really feel like I'm moving in the right direction, and that in the future I'm going to be able to do that amazing, you know, bird's eye view scene that I can almost imagine in my head. So yeah, goodness me, this arm is aching a lot. Okay, so after this, when I was at the bottom, I got this interesting image of like the port, and then on the right hand side there was a road, coastal road, and some big white buildings, and maybe empty buildings actually. So I think this town is like a dying town, yeah? I'm not too sure, but one of the buildings I remember was empty and a bit spooky looking. But there was something about the image that was very beautiful. I loved how punchy and powerful these white buildings looked. I really liked the surface of the dock, you know, this concrete, and I was able to capture that. And I really like this sparkle here. I think this works really well. So I just think it's not a particularly beautiful scene, but the choice of colours and texture has made it look beautiful. And I like my figures. I love to paint figures. This place had a wonderful atmosphere. It was very, very peaceful, and you had like a dad there with his son and a family, and they were all fishing, and there were some men there fishing as well, and they all looked really happy. I think it was a national holiday, a bank holiday, whatever, and just a wonderful atmosphere. So I'm not sure if my paintings conveyed that, but it was really nice to experience that. Okay, so after this place, basically I had a decision to make. Oh, I should mention this. By the sea, there was this weird structure that went out into the sea. And I got some amazing drone shots of it. And there's something about this structure that really excites me. And part of me wanted to have a go at painting it, but in the end, I chose not to. I'm not too sure why. It can be really hard choosing, you know, what to paint and what not to paint. Anyway, I was in Tsukumi town, and it was becoming evening time, and I wanted to do an on-the-spot painting. But at the same time, I was thinking about that dockyard area and thinking, how will that look at evening time? It could look really dramatic. And so I decided to go back to the dockyard. And that meant that I didn't really have enough time to do an on-the-spot painting. So I was a bit sad about that. But I thought I could do a much better painting, but I would end up finding a much better evening scene at the dockyard rather than in Tsukumi town. When I got there, the sun was just going down behind the mountain, and I took my drone up and I got some really amazing shots. And so from that, I ended up doing 2 paintings at home. So the first one I'll show you, I'm really happy with. So I'll just talk about that one now. So I love the sun behind the mountains, and the mountains have that golden backdrop, or that golden lighting, whatever. So I love that. And I love the way you've got things like this shooting out towards us, and pipes and stuff. And you've got these big silos or containers. It's all exciting. And I love the colours, you know, the warms and the cools. I think it worked out quite well. I'm not sure if it has a focal point, but still, I like it. And I did another one, and maybe I shouldn't make this the last one, but yeah, so I'm not sure. But I think it's interesting. It's an interesting painting. And this is what I'm talking about with, was I talking about this? But maybe, yeah, that I wanted to see, you know, like old factory kind of things, like these silo things, which are very old now, and these conveyor belt things going out into the sea, and these carrier ships. So I did get to see that, and I did even get to paint it. And I'm not sure about this one, if it works or not. I'm still going to keep it. I'm happy enough with it, but I'm still a bit undecided if it's really that good. But what really fascinates me about this place is the way, they've built this industrial complex or whatever it is on like green hills. And it's quite bizarre, for me anyway. Like in England, it would just be a big flat area. There wouldn't be like a green hill. I don't know, maybe my talk is crazy, but I just find it very interesting. Yeah. So I'm sort of happy with that. And I'm really glad that I had a go. So that's all about my painting trip to Tsukumi. I'm really glad that I went there, and I'm definitely going to go back there again. So I hope you enjoyed it. Please like, please comment. I know I should say that at the beginning, but there you go. And I do sell paintings and prints, and there'll be a link in the description box. And I'll be back again soon, hopefully, with another painting trip. Oh my gosh, where am I going to go next? I'm still not sure, but that's part of the excitement. Okay, goodbye.